Welcome back, everybody. It's Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob coming at you on a matinee, I suppose. Not that you guys can tell, but it is daytime for us. It's not the night that we usually do.
Since
But
I'm in a basement and use a background, it doesn't really
yeah, no,
mean
that's
a damn thing.
nope, nope.
Although it does,
Consistency though.
and I was gonna say there's a blind in front of my face, so it's not like
Yeah,
it's like, oh well, there's more light coming this way. Nope,
yeah, nope, nope.
nope.
And my desk is set up in the corner of the room. So I mean, there's two windows to either side of me, but it's not like, oh, maybe you can see. Yeah, you can kind of see on my hand a little bit there. It looks brighter, but I'm not going to do the show like this.
Just to display light. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
yeah. Um, so I got something really fucking dumb to start out with that I actually laughed out loud when I read it. Because this is the dumbest time to be alive. Oh shit, I just realized, oh, you can't even tell in the video, but I was feeding the baby earlier. I was giving him yogurt and I have dried yogurt all over my shirt.
Definitely can't tell.
Yeah, no, you can't tell,
Plus, what are you
but
gonna do? Change?
yeah,
Like,
no. But I just looked down and my shirt's covered in dried yogurt. So anyway,
get your fucking
um
house in order, will you?
because this is the dumbest time to be alive. I read this thing where not just one, not two, not even three, four people in the fine state of Florida filed a federal lawsuit against Hershey. Uh, the allegation is in regard to Hershey's Reese's peanut butter cups. And the claim is that they misled customers. You want to take a guess on how they claim they misled customers?
I don't want to take it because I really can't fathom how peanut butter cup can be fucking misleading. No, it's not a
Uh,
cup. Now I do get like, okay, so it's not a glass of peanut butter.
yep.
So the other thing is, yeah, just get to it. I'll have my comments because I already know where this is going.
So they are arguing that the chocolate manufacturer misled its customers with several of its Reese's peanut butter products by showing, quote, explicit carved out artistic designs on the wrappers that once unwrapped are actually blank. They claim that they would not have purchased the product if they had been truthfully advertised. At this time, they are seeking an unspecified amount in compensatory damages.
I mean, if you're broke, just tell me. Like
Four people.
peanut butter cups are like, I don't even know, like $2.
Yeah. So it's quite literally the dumbest time to be alive, right? Like because there's a design on the wrapper of a Reese's peanut butter cup that does not match a design on the actual cup inside of the wrapper. There's now litigation.
Some lawyer is probably sitting on his fucking back deck this weekend, smoking a cigar, drinking like the nicest bottle of whatever, because he found four dumbasses that want to sue fucking the Hershey company,
Yeah.
and they hired him to do it.
I mean, I would have to imagine there's no way this case goes through, right? Or even if it does go through, right? Even if they allow it to go to trial, there's no way a judge is going to rule in favor of these four morons.
Well, I think what you it's I know it was what the old USFL
Yeah.
lawsuit, where it's like you're awarded $1.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like, well, how many peanut butter cups was it? Well, we each had one because if the design didn't match the cup, why would you buy it again?
Right.
So that means one peanut butter cup for each of you, which at most, we're talking about $20 because you bought it at the most expensive place ever with like a big
Right.
package, right?
And then you could probably calculate time, like mileage driven, right? So if you're looking at like 68 cents a mile, right, at the federal rate, and it's like, okay,
That's
well,
the thing.
how
Like,
you
even
know,
even with fucking interest, the four of you can split $120. Like, have fucking fun, I guess.
yeah, yeah,
So, oh, legal fees, no, because this didn't need to happen. Like that's what I would do. Like if I in a hypothetical fake world, like if I could be in charge of like judging, and it's like, oh, you want to sue Hershey? No problem, bring it on in. Like I've
yeah,
I've got time Tuesday at 2 o'clock. You guys
yeah,
are in,
yeah,
and then it's like, okay, you got 25 minutes to give your case, and I'll have an answer in the next five. And it's like, case, no problem. You are awarded a total of $84. Oh, well, the lawyer was $600 an hour. Not my fucking problem.
yeah,
You chose to fucking sue.
right,
And my judgment is that, yeah, okay, Reese's was dishonest. I'll reimburse you for the cup and the driving and the fucking whatever, but this didn't need to be a lawsuit. You could have just fucking, stayed home.
yeah. I also, like I said, like I can't imagine that they're even going to win, right? Because there's no, it's because you could make the argument again, you're going up against Hershey, which is worth, I'm assuming billions of dollars. Um, so the money they have at their disposal for like actual lawyers versus like, the guy that's sitting on the bayou that got hired to represent these four guys drinking a
It's
nice
cousin
bottle of
Brad,
bourbon.
dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Um, like you could make an argument for like marketing techniques, right? Like it's standard operating procedure for marketing to use designs and all this stuff. And it's not like there was any physical harm that came out of it, right? Like as stupid as it is, right? Everyone always goes back to the McDonald's coffee, right? Like that case from what was that like 20 might even be
yeah,
30 years ago now. Um where the woman got a hot coffee from McDonald's, she spilled it on her, and she sued them because nowhere on the cup did it say that it was hot, contents hot. But she ordered a hot coffee, right? That's why all coffee cups now on the top or somewhere on the cup say caution, contents hot, because of that one lawsuit 30 years ago where that woman got awarded a ridiculous amount of money. Like at least there you can
she
make the
actually burned
argument she
herself.
burned herself, right? Like you drove to a Target and purchased a Reese's peanut butter cup that had a design on the wrapper that didn't match a design that was on the actual cup itself. Like you're just a moron.
Yeah.
You're just an idiot. You have a
I said,
sub 85 IQ.
I
That's
said,
what that tells me.
it's funny. We were talking about that. Me and one of the guys at the gym. He's like, "You ever taken an IQ test?" I go, "No." He goes, "I don't even know what the scale is." He goes, "I don't even know what would be good." Anyway,
A 100 is average.
I thought
I
100 was
think
perfect.
yeah. I think I think the average range is like 80 or no, it's 90 to 110 is like the standard deviation. I think they say the average college graduate has a 120.
You might want to update those numbers.
Yeah. Again, the average college
Yeah,
graduate.
that's
Yeah.
that's got to
So
be an old figure.
right, right.
Um, I think I've said it before too. I think it's Japan. Like, if you sue someone and lose, like you fucking pay their fees. We need to start implementing this. These lawsuits are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you can't seriously. Like, how do you wake up in the day and go, you know what I'm gonna do today? Sue Hershey
Yeah.
because I spent $1.50 on a peanut butter cup and it's not what I expected. Like, where the fuck does it end?
Yeah.
It's almost like suing Toyota because you crashed your car, and it's like, well, I didn't think it would get in an accident.
Yeah.
Or it's like, I didn't think the car would break if if I hit a curb.
Or yeah, or like you sue Ray-Ban, right? I got a pair of sunglasses sitting right in front of me. So you sue Ray-Ban for going blind because you stared at the sun while wearing the
with it on.
glasses. It's like, well, I didn't know. I thought sunglasses were going
They're
to protect my
glasses. Yeah,
eyes.
they're glasses to look at the sun.
Yeah, it's like you're just a fucking moron.
Yeah, stupid, absolute idiots.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I can't imagine this will move forward at all.
I really
Uh,
hope not.
because again, it's just marketing, it's designs on a wrapper, right? Like it's not like
That's the
anywhere
thing. Like,
on the wrapper they said new look, right? They didn't advertise a new look, a new design or anything like it was just art. It was artwork that was on a Reese's
but
wrapper.
in like going back to the coffee cup, what damages did you fucking experience? Like, seriously, lay that out for me.
Right. Right.
It's like, oh, false advertising. Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not get a peanut butter cup, or did you? And then like the little like PLU tag below it that said like $1.50. Was it $1.50? There's no
Yeah.
false advertising. So like, what damages did you experience,
Yeah.
assholes?
So I just looked it up because I was curious and I found a website called lawyerinc.com that has the list of 10 of the dumbest lawsuits that actually won. So starting at number 10, a TV channel was sued for the wrong weather forecast.
No fucking way.
So, an Israeli woman sued a TV channel over a wrong weather forecast in 1996. Supposedly, she dressed lightly because she expected sunny rather than stormy weather. The woman blamed getting drenched for her catching the flu, which caused her to miss out on 4 days of work. As a result, she wanted $1,000 in compensation plus an apology from the weather forecaster. The strange thing is that she managed to get both of these things without a fight, presumably because the TV channel figured it was less costly to its interest than meeting her in the courtroom. So they were
Yeah.
like, yeah, sure, we'll just cut you $1,000 check and write
Yeah.
you a
Hey,
letter.
$1,000 and you'll shut the fuck up. Here you go.
Yeah.
I wish I could pay a lot of people. There's a lot of people I'd pay $1,000 just to shut up and leave me alone.
Yeah, yeah. So number 9 is the McDonald's. McDonald's sued for burning hot coffee. Chances are good that interested individuals have heard about this one. Yes, the woman who sued McDonald's because she spilled her coffee on herself received extensive media coverage. As a result, it became the uber example of a ridiculous lawsuit in popular consciousness, also known as the zeitgeist. I don't know why you would write it like that. This is particularly true because the woman received more than $2.8 million, which seems egregious on initial consideration. Yeah. Um, so they go
Insane.
on to like give more. She got third-degree burns. Number 8, Universal Studios was sued for frightening a Halloween visitor. That's pretty fucking stupid. You got to know what you're getting yourself into if you're going to Universal on Halloween. Like they do like a big thing. Like that's a huge like Halloween festival that they do. But regardless,
What they'll be.
um it seems reasonable to say that people visit theme parks on Halloween expecting attempts to frighten them. Yeah, I would say that's reasonable. As a result, it seems ridiculous for someone to sue a theme park for succeeding in that regard. Still, that happened when a grandmother brought her grandchild to Universal Studios Florida on Halloween 1998. We don't know what she received in compensation for her suffering. However, we know she received something because Universal Studios chose to settle, presumably because the lawsuit going to court would have been more expensive course of action for the company.
It's all,
Yeah,
yeah. That's what this list is going to end up being. It's not going to be dumb lawsuits that actually went to court. It's
yeah,
going to be all shit that's settled.
yeah.
I know the McDonald's one was a real one, but
So number 7 is a popcorn maker and grocery store were sued over popcorn lung. Never heard of that. But in 2012, Wayne Watson won a lawsuit against a popcorn maker and grocery store chain because he developed health issues after eating 2 daily bags of popcorn for 10 years. Some people wonder whether he sued because he became overweight. If so, they should know he sued because he developed a condition called popcorn lung that cost him a sizable portion of his lung capacity, something that had horrible consequences for his day-to-day life for obviously obvious reasons. What is popcorn lung? It is a buildup of scar tissue in the lungs caused by exposure to a chemical called diacetyl. People called it popcorn lung because it showed up in a popcorn maker's employees who came prolonged contact with diacetyl because of the chemicals used for giving foods a buttery flavor. So a guy ate popcorn, 2 bags of popcorn every day for 10 years and was exposed to diacetyl and
Mhm.
fucked up his lungs. All right. Number six, the city of Duluth sued over a fountain of bubbles. Around the turn of the millennium, someone dumped dish soap into the Duluth fountain of wind. The result was an enormous mass of bubbles, which was interesting enough for Kathy Kelly to walk through it. Oh, God. Unfortunately for everyone other than the prankster, she slipped and fell before suing the city for compensation. The jurors proved sympathetic enough to award her 70% compensation, which translated to $125,000. So that sucks for the city because the city was liable for some dickhead who put dish soap in their fountain.
Yeah, that like, yeah.
Yeah.
What if it was an inside job?
Yeah. Yeah. Number five. This one sounds funny. The UK government sued over the definition of cake. Seems like they could have used sarcasm speaks here to help them
Jesus
define cake.
Christ.
We could have provided expert witness. We could have testified. So Jaffa cakes are a popular British snack. Despite the name, they straddle the line between cake and biscuit.
Oh God.
This is
Oh God.
literally an episode of Sarcasm Speaks. At one point, the formal classification of Jaffa cakes was argued before a tribunal in the United Kingdom. Their maker, McVitie's, defended their classification as cakes, going as far to make a giant Jaffa cake to support its claim. In the end, the company scored more points than it had points scored on it. The Edinburgh News reports that the tribunal decided that Jaffa cakes could be considered a cake, even though they had the characteristics of cakes and biscuits. I feel like we could have settled that for them.
Also, aren't biscuits over there? Aren't those just cookies over there?
Mm. Yeah, that's a good call because a biscuit in the UK is not the same thing that we call a biscuit here.
Yeah, biscuits like down south, like
Right.
a
Like biscuits and gravy.
yeah, like
I
a
think they call
Lebanese.
biscuits cookie. Like that's what they call cookies.
I thought biscuits were like that's why I thought they were cookies,
Yeah.
like they eat like hard cookies with tea and shit.
Yeah. Probably.
That's what I
Uh
thought, but
yeah.
so I don't know how we're mixing a fucking cake and a bit like that's such a fucking British thing. Like that may as well have been a fucking Monty Python skit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like arguing over fucking biscuits and cake, and Americans are looking at it like, what the fuck are you people talking about?
Thanks for calling the argument hotline. It'll be 10 cents.
Like,
All right, so we got number four is a railroad company was sued by injured trespassers. All right. Generally speaking, people are less than thrilled by the thought that property owners can become liable for the injuries of trespassers. As a result, there was a fair amount of disgruntlement when two men received $24.2 million because they were electrocuted while trespassing on railroad property when they were teenagers. One of them was injured when he came into contact with an electrical wire hanging overhead, while the other was injured while he tried to help his friend. Yeah, man, that's like 101. Like, if someone is currently being electrocuted, don't touch them.
you're
Like,
supposed to
as
grab,
much as it
supposed to give him a
sucks,
big hug.
yeah, as much as it sucks to like watch someone be electrocuted, like if you touch them, you will then also be electrocuted. That's how electricity
I'm
works.
pretty sure you want to get your chest as close to the person being electrocuted, like ideally the center of your chest.
Yeah, yeah.
Ideally, just like right up on them.
Um, so they argued that the railroad companies should have had warning signs about the presence of electrical wires, which the jurors seem to have found persuasive because obviously
Yeah,
they
so I
won
mean,
24
like,
million.
I don't agree with it, but that one, that's actually the most understandable one that they've said so far. That should have been 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's like, again, I don't have to agree with it or like it, but
Right.
like I was like, why did they settle? Because either whatever electricity was either too accessible or there were no warnings or like whatever. That's why it's like there's a fence and then it's like signage on the fence and it's like that this is why that shit happens. Like,
Right. Uh, so the last three actually I know about, right? Which I'm assuming you might know, might too, and the
probably
listeners
not.
might too. But so number three is Subway, the sandwich shop, was sued over their sandwich length. So I remember this one.
What
This
the
wasn't that
footlongs
long
weren't
ago.
they weren't a foot
The
long?
footlongs aren't actually a foot. Yeah. Um, so, for example, people sued Subway over the length of its sandwiches when an Australian teenager posted a photo showing that his foot-long sandwiches was actually 11 inches rather than 12 inches. In truth, the length was meaningless. The bread is shipped from each store in its unbaked form. Furthermore, meat and cheese are standardized with other ingredients, whatever. Um, as a result, each sandwich contained the same amount of food despite its length. Despite this, the lawsuit ended in a settlement. Um, It required Subway to take steps to ensure the minimum sandwich lengths it had already taken to stem its reputational bleeding. So then they had to like go through and make sure that the thing was actually a foot long. Number two is Red Bull was sued because the beverages aren't as energizing as advertised. This was the whole like Red Bull gives you wings, and people were like, "Oh no, that's not true. I didn't get wings." So in 2014, Red Bull agreed to settle a class action lawsuit by paying out up to $13 million. The whole thing started because a customer thought its energy drinks weren't as energizing as its advertising claimed, which, if you read between the lines there, they're saying it didn't give them wings because for the longest time, that was Red Bull's shtick was Red Bull, it gives you wings. So someone sued because they didn't get wings when they drank a Red Bull. Um, this was a settlement, right? Of course, Red Bull admitted no fault with this advertising. Instead, it said it settled because it didn't want to go through the uncertainty of fighting things out in the courtroom. Amusingly, the cap on compensation meant that recipients benefited when fewer people responded to Red Bull's offer because it meant a higher individual payout. Yeah, okay, whatever. So number one, Beck's Brewery was sued
When Bex?
because Unbeck's, yeah, Unbeck's was sued because the beer isn't German made. So Beck's Brewery offered a $20 million settlement to buy off a class action lawsuit over misleading advertising. Essentially, it started making its US product in the United States rather than in Germany in 2012. That piece of information was included on the product packaging. The issue was that it was so minimal that it was easily missed, meaning people could be fooled into buying while still under the belief it was brewed in Germany. So they actually put it on the label that this is not brewed in Germany, like Beck's German beer. It's this, however, if you buy it in the United States, the US version is brewed in the US, which by like my thought process would probably mean it's better because it's fresher, right? Like if it's brewed in the US, it can get to other places quicker versus like if it's brewed in Germany, it's got to come over, it's got to go through customs, you know what I mean? It's just going to sit longer. But hey, whatever. Um, but yeah, someone sued because the writing on the Beck's bottle was too small that said it's not, this bottle isn't brewed in Germany.
You know, people didn't sue for shit like this in the 70s. They must have
No.
just had better shit to do.
I mean, I don't know if you noticed or if you picked up on this, but all of those that provided dates were like 1996 and later.
Yeah, of course it was.
So all of these are within the last 30 years, call it.
Yep, sure is.
Yeah. Because, like you said, people in the 70s had bigger fish to fry,
Really, just yeah, they
or
they
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 just
just
didn't give a shit,
they just didn't give a shit because none of this stuff matters.
or there wasn't as many people, right? So, like, by who was that a Bill Burr bit or something where it was like when there's 8 billion people on the planet, like, and you can, or maybe it's a Joe Rogan bit actually. So it's like, if you consider that like 1% of people are just dumbasses.
Well, we have that at about 97.
Well, yeah, we do. But like 1% of 8 billion is 8 million, right? But like however many years ago when the population was at like 5 billion, that's only 5 million people, right? So like the
There's
bigger the
3 billion
number,
more
yeah.
idiots.
Yeah, it's like the more people you have statistically, there's going to be more idiots because there's just more people.
Awful. These
Yeah.
people suck.
Yeah.
Absolutely fucking suck.
People are really fucking stupid. Oh, and the hilarious part about all of that is like they've won, right? Like though all those cases actually won or
They
received money.
settled.
Yeah, they received money in
It
some way, shape, or
sounded like
form.
only one of those. It sounded like two of those actually went to court
Yeah.
in like one. It sounded like everything else was a settlement.
Yeah.
It's like this is fucking stupid. We have like crazy money. Just go away.
Yeah, just leave us alone. Here's $20 million. Like, go fuck
Because they
off.
like city of Duluth, it's like 125,000. It's like whatever. Here you go. We'll just raise taxes. It's easy.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We'll get it back and then some.
And people like that's the other thing too. People wonder like, why are real estate taxes so high? Because you people are fucking stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't drive. You sue us. You can't fucking do anything right.
Yeah. You know what that actually reminds me of? I just found out the other day. So on Friday, I had a guy come in to do like a home energy audit
Yep.
because North Attleboro is municipal electric, right? So we're not
Yep.
eligible for Mass Save, which
Right.
Mass Save is subsidized through National Grid and Eversource.
Yep. Yep.
Actually, just National Grid, I think, or maybe I don't know. Who knows? Maybe both.
Eversource. If Mass Save, if Eversource doesn't pay Mass Save, then Eversource has something that they use.
Right, right. So the guy, super nice guy, we're walking through the house, whatever, and he's talking to me and he's like, yeah, so, he goes, unfortunately, because you're a municipality, he's like, you got pros and cons to that, right? He's like, pros are that when something goes wrong, like you get it fixed pretty quickly and it's way cheaper every month than National Grid. He goes, however, because you're not eligible for Mass Save, you're not going to get as nice of a deal from them as you would from Mass Save. And I was like, yeah. He goes, I've seen projects where people have $120,000 worth of work done on their house and Mass Save covers like 100 grand of it. And the person's only liable for like 20 grand. And I was like, yeah, that's kind of nice. There's North Attleboro gives us $1,000. That's it. Like I thought you get $1,000. Um, so, which better than the nothing. But what the guy told me was, so he goes, this doesn't matter to you, but on what National Grid does is they actually charge every single customer that they have $10 a month and they call it a service fee. And he goes, what that is all of that money goes into a slush fund and they use the money from the slush fund to then fund the Mass Save projects. So he's like, all of this stuff, like it's not like National Grid is losing money. And he goes, the way they do it, right, is
Don't they also get government grants?
yes. So this is the deal. So they take that money from the slush fund and then they funnel it through the Mass Save program. And because they do it that way, it then becomes a tax write off. So they get $10 a month from every single National Grid customer. There's going to be National Grid customers that never go through the Mass Save program ever, right? In their entire life of being a National Grid customer. It's the same thing as like insurance, right? Like health insurance or car insurance or whatever. There's people that pay for it their entire lives and never once use it. So $10 a month goes into the National Grid slush fund. So they're making $10 on every single customer every single month, right? So that's $120 a year per customer. And all of that money, like I said, into the slush fund, and whatever money they pull from that to funnel through Mass Save, because it's for energy efficient things, it's a tax write off. So they're
So
making money on one end and then they're writing off taxes on the other end.
can I can I argue semantics for a second for clarity?
Mhm.
Because a lot of people talk tax write-offs, and like I know that like because tax write-off is a phrase, right? Like I don't
Right.
like I am arguing semantics, and it's not with you. It's just whatever. Uh, so I think they actually get either grants or credits because 1.2 million electrical customers just in Massachusetts. 1.2 million times, what is that?
120.
120 times
It's going to be like 1.4 billion or something like that. That seems like a lot. 114 million.
$144 million just in Massachusetts electric.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not paying that out. So yeah, okay. So when National Grid sits there and say they pay what did I say? That was 144. Say they pay $100 million to Mass Save.
Right.
And people go, oh, it's a tax write-off. Well, no shit, because it's a fucking expense. It's a business expense.
Right.
They
Right.
spend the 100 million. But what I think happens is I think if they spend like 100 million with Mass Save, not only like they actually spent the money. Like the money
Right.
came in, the money went out. But I think they get a credit, maybe not 100% credit of 100 million, but like 75, like whatever. So that's like then they pay less in taxes because they just got this massive credit back on.
Right.
Because people say that all the time. It's like, oh, a donation, it's a tax write-off. It's like, yeah, but you have to spend the money.
Right. The money is now gone.
If
Yeah.
I donate it or if I buy a computer, they're both fucking expenses. Like they're
Right.
both
Right.
write-offs because they're both expenses.
Right. It's a way to look at it. Well, I heard someone describe it once. I forget where, but for really rich people that have that kind of money, it's a way to basically decide where your tax dollars are going to go, right? Because you're going to pay the money regardless, whether it's in taxes or in donations. So if you like, say you make, I'm just making numbers up here. You make $1 million a year, right? I make $1 million a year.
Of course. Yep. Yep.
um, and say you owe $500,000 in taxes, right? If you donate $350,000 to various charities across the state, and then you're like, oh, yeah, now I only owe $150,000 in taxes. Look at that. I skirted taxes. No, no, no. You still spent
You still spent the money.
$350,000 to charities. Yes, so it went to charities, so you then don't have to pay that in taxes. But what happens is you're basically controlling where your money is ending up, right? Like if your tax bill is X and you take that money and donate it to other places, you then have a $0 tax bill. You still spent that
Yeah.
money. It's still money that you don't have. You just got to decide where it went, which is
And
kind of how I think people skirt the whole, this is the whole like Walpole fucking
well, yeah,
like
you just keep spinning it around
one person
yourself.
pays the,
Yeah.
yeah, so like all these rich people that like Bill Gates donates a bunch of his money to like the Bill and Melinda Gates
Yeah.
Foundation. So
And
it's
then if
like,
he wanted to,
okay,
he could pull a salary from that
yeah.
foundation.
So
So
it's like the amount of
literally
money
paying
that you
himself with
pay in
his own money.
taxes, yeah, you're paying yourself, right? So it gets a little sketchy, which is
Well,
why all
then,
these billionaires are quote unquote philanthropists, right? They're like, oh, look at all this money they donate to charity. Well, yeah, who owns the charity?
Yeah.
They do. They're
Or
donating
it's
to their
or
own charity.
or it's their buddy's charity, and then their buddy donates to their
Right.
like
Yeah,
that's all they
exactly.
do.
Yeah, yeah.
But in this, like when it comes to like the energy stuff, um, that's where the difference between a write-off and then like a credit, like depreciation is the best example. Like it's the best
Mhm.
one I can come up with. So say your business, you were going to buy computers anyway, and you spend 10 grand on computers, period. I'm making numbers up because I don't know what the depreciation rate is. But let's say it's 50% over 5 years. So you get to write off an additional $1,000 per year for the 5 years. So in year one, you physically had to buy them. You had to have $10,000 cash leave.
Mhm.
Yes, that's a write-off because it's an expense, but you're getting a free $1,000 in reducing your taxable income in that year in the following four. Because again, that's an oversimplification. I'm not a fucking
Right.
accountant,
Right.
uh, and we actually really don't do much with depreciation because we don't have stuff. And
Yeah.
like the way we obtained our equipment is a little unorthodox. But yeah, that's the thing is like a lot of these people like, oh, it's a write off. It's like so write-offs you shouldn't really get like because people get butthurt about it, right? They're like, oh, all it is a write-off for National Grid. It's like, yeah, here's the thing though. If you want to get really mad, you need to fucking figure out their grants, their funding, and their
Yeah.
credits. That's
Right.
the shit that should piss you off because they do physically pay mass save.
Right.
Like that money does leave.
Right.
Yes, and that's the other thing. It's like, oh, National Grid, what great guys taking care of the environment. It's like, no, you paid for it. $10 a
Yeah.
month. You've
Yeah.
been paying for this the
Every
whole time.
as long as you've been a National Grid customer, that $10 service charge every month, yep,
Well, that's the thing.
that's
And
your
then
mass save.
if they quote you on like $50,000 job, well, first of all, that number's inflated, and they're only going to charge you six. It's like, wow, what a great savings. Well, 6K. They just got 6K out of you.
Right.
Um,
On top of the
so
$10 a month that you're going to continue to
so
pay.
120 every month and the 6K. Yeah, don't worry. They're not really doing you a like. Don't get it is still a deal. It
Right.
is,
Right. Right. Because you're
but it's not
getting a
that good of a deal.
product, right, or a service or something. You're receiving something for a heavy discount. So
Yeah,
it
well,
is still
that's
a
the
deal,
thing. I would
but
also like,
it works out for them, right? They
yes,
wouldn't
it
do it
does.
if it wasn't good for business.
Right. And then, but this is where you can also like for you guys, and again, it doesn't matter who came, but like say you found X contractor, and X
Mhm.
contractor is known for whatever, like they're a remodeler with a specialty in um energy efficient whatevers measure.
Insulation, because that's what we need, insulation in the
Well, it's
attic.
well because they can do insulation, they can do lights, they can do duct work, they could do anything. It's really anything.
Yeah.
It's like insulation, HVAC, electrical. I don't think I'm really missing much else there. It could be all those things. Just
Heating
depend
too.
HVAC.
Oh yeah. Heating, ventilation, air conditioning.
Well, that's the thing. So it's like one of these companies could come into your house. They could sell you a new. You have oil, so let's just use oil for simplicity. They could sell you a new oil tank, a new burner, all the pipes, a hot water heater, um, the baseboards or whatever it is. Like they could sell you all of that, and that might be like $150,000, like depending on how big your house is and how much work it extends to be. Like that's like it could be that much,
Right.
or it could just be insulation where they blow the insulation and it's I don't know 25 grand, making up numbers doesn't matter.
Right.
Um, but you're in a position where you don't have to use mass save, which means you don't have to use faceless contractor because my mother did it. And the reason I told her, like, don't, it doesn't really matter is because she was residing the house anyway.
Hmm.
Like, you want to talk shitty work when these guys like don't like you don't like when you hire through Mass Save, it's all like independent third party, like whatever. You don't know which contractor's coming to you.
Right. Right.
Or you could call North Attleboro General Contracting. And it's
Right.
like, hey, I'm Steve. Hey, Steve. He goes, I'm the GC. And it's
Yeah.
like, here I am.
Right. Right.
And it's like, will it be more expensive? Yeah, but you're not getting any credits anyway. So it's like, or you're getting 1,000 from the town. Like, there is a point where you actually don't need National Grid or Mass Save, and you'll get a better product potentially. Because that's the other thing is they juice the numbers. It's like, oh my god, this is a $50,000
Right.
project. It's like, no, it's not.
So the cool thing about this guy and their company, so the way it works is they're a third party service, right? That they're actually based in Mansfield. Um, but they contract with the town. And then so the town sends this third party company, and the guy was talking, and part of his like report that he sends out is they give you an estimate of a range of how much you would be looking to pay for this cost, right? So he took measurements of the whole house, right? So he was like, okay, if you want to insulate your entire attic, that total should be around $1,000, right? So like now I can call an insulation company, and if I have someone come out and they're like, "Oh yeah, I can do this for like 2,700," I'd be like, "Well, you can pound sand."
You can go fuck
And if I
yourself.
have someone else come out and look at it and they're like, "Oh, I could probably do it for like 13," and it's like, okay, that's still more than the estimate range, but like it's more palatable than someone who comes out and says 27, right? And it's like, okay. And so because it's just an algorithm, whatever program spits out in their report, right? Because he took measurements on the house and everything like that. And he's like, if you do this, you should expect to pay this, right? So it's helpful in that regard, because now I'm not like, well, I have no idea how much it should cost to insulate the attic, right? And if I only got one quote and it came back and was $2,700, I don't know that I'm getting bent over a
Right.
barrel, right? Like obviously I would do my due diligence and not just get one quote anyway, but what if I got three quotes and they were all 22 and above, right? Or 22 to 3 grand. It's like, whoa, 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 something's going on here, right? Then I can at least call one of them and say, hey, listen, like I've been told it should be around $1,000. Like, what is it that's causing more, right? And maybe they're like, oh, well, in that case, we could probably do it for like 15. And it's like, oh, okay,
Well,
all
I mean,
right,
that's the thing you'll get is like, well, we're kind of busy right now, and the project isn't that big.
right,
Like,
right,
that's how, like, yeah,
right.
that's a whole nother thing.
Which is how I ended up and having to do my garden fence anyway. We had someone, a girl I used to work with, her boyfriend is a GC and he just does a bunch of shit, right? But part of it is they live in Plymouth, right? So Plymouth to North
Yeah, that's a
Attleboro
hike.
isn't close.
There's no good way to
So,
get there.
and it's just a garden fence, right? It's like 11 fence posts and then just put the shit together, staple the chicken wire and like drop some rock, right? Like I already put down the weed guard. I have like the tin fucking things built. Like everything is ready to go. I just need the fence posts and the fence to be built. So he came out, he looked at it, and he sent me a quote, and it was like $2,500. And I was like, yeah, absolutely not. And Amy was like, yeah, that's fucking ridiculous. And then I thought about it a little bit more, and I was like, well, one, he lives in Plymouth. Two, it's not a big job for
Right.
him. So it's one of those like, I'm going to make it way more expensive because it's not worth my time, right? So I'll make it worth my time, or you're just going to not take it because I don't want to do it, right? Like it's a project he doesn't want to do. So he's like, if you're going to make me do it, you're going to pay for it basically.
Yeah,
Because I
it's
was
like,
hoping to have someone look at it and be like, oh yeah, I can do this for like $1,000, right? Because it would take
yeah.
like full time, it would take someone like probably 2 days, maybe 3 days max to get the whole thing done.
Well, it's like you need to know, and I mean, it's hard because you're not from North Attleboro, and like you're not like really like in the town yet. But that's why like you kind of need to know like a certain handful of people
Yeah.
because to have like a real contractor or fence company do it, like what you're talking about, it's too crazy. Like you needed the fence
Right.
company for your perimeter fence,
Yeah, exactly.
but like it's not big enough of a project. It's like the my the guy that was a friend of my father's that helps my mother out with shit. Like a wooden fence has the lattice at the top.
Yep.
So he replaced a panel of the lattice of the top for my
Right.
mother. He did it all himself. He didn't buy the lattice and cut it. He made it.
Yeah.
He's not a fence guy. He's not a carpenter. He's just like a handyman kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Like he's just good at random shit. And I do think he is specifically good. He's good with the wood. Like guys just good laying
Yeah.
wood.
He's a wood guy.
I do think specifically wood is like one of his strengths, but like he'll also like look at the roof or like, hey,
Yeah.
there's a gutter back there. Like that's the thing. Finding someone like that where they're like local, it's not really their job, but they'll do a good job
Hmm.
for something like a garden fence. But like, yeah, when you like lay a patio, you probably want a
Yeah.
hardscaper to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a
Again,
guy that's going to do it on the weekend because it's going to take him fucking forever.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, as it was, they, with the two guys with the Kubota, took them a whole week to get the
Yeah.
patio done. And it was one of those, like I said it on the show too. I stood there and looked at how big it actually was and was like, yeah, fuck this. I'm not digging this out. I'll
Yeah.
just pay someone to come do
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna dig that by hand, sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, for a patio, for sure, just pay someone to get it done.
That's
That
the thing.
perimeter fence around like the massive yard that we
You need a
have,
fence
like
company.
I need a fence company, like a
Right.
small little garden fence. All right, I'll suck it up and just fucking do it myself. It's
Yeah,
not going to
because
be perfect, right? There
right.
might be a little bit of gaps here and there because the ground is not even, and it's like, well, I mean, as long as no one just goes and like gives a heavy inspection into the fence, like you're not going to notice those little things anyway. So.
So yeah, so you blowing insulation or what?
Yeah. I gotta get an insulation company.
True.
I got uh I got a list of them. So I asked the guy too, and I said it kind of like, so are you allowed to recommend any insulation companies? And he was like, no. He was like, honestly, I don't know any in this area anyway. He goes, my area is Taunton. But in my head, I was like, dude, Taunton's not that far. Like a company based in Taunton would come to do work in North Attleboro, but
Yeah, it might be
whatever.
you know what though? It might be that same thing. Like price just went up
Right, right.
because
So he was
Taunton.
like, yeah, I'm not allowed to recommend companies anyway. But he was like, if
But
I
if you
knew,
Google,
yeah, that's what he said. He goes, I'm gonna be real with you. If I knew one that was close by, I would probably tell you anyway. But he goes, that's exactly what he said. He goes, if you go on Google and Yelp, he was like, they're both really good
I
ways
was
to
gonna say
find a
it's like
good company.
no, I can't recommend anybody, but let's just say hypothetically speaking, and I'm not telling you anything. Say you were to Google Four Brothers Insulation, again, again, out of Seekonk, maybe Seekonk, I'm not really sure. But like, yeah, but I can't recommend anything, man.
Yeah, I mean, he was a nice guy, but
Well, yeah,
so
his
now,
job's easy.
yeah,
He has the easiest job in the like, so his job's phenomenal because you don't get paid by the customer, right? You didn't pay him.
no,
Yep. So he's getting paid from a larger entity.
hmm,
All he's doing is providing you like the
with a report,
estimates, and
yeah,
that's it. So it's like he's the good guy in every situation because he's
yep,
telling you like, yeah, man, this is what to expect. This is what it is. It's like, oh, what do I owe you for today? Oh, no, no, you don't pay me. Someone else pays me.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that's a good gig. Need more of that.
yeah. He was telling me he goes to 4 houses a day. He's like, this is
Yep.
what I do. I go three to 4 houses a day, and this is all I do all the time. So I was like, oh, that's a pretty solid gig. But yeah, I mean, he had some cool ideas to, or not ideas, but like ways to like get around. So obviously like in the basement, right, with the bulkhead, there's no door, right? And that's the one thing everyone always says, oh, you gotta have a door under the bulkhead. Right? People your dad said that to us when we bought Mansfield. I was like, oh, you gotta have a door. Like you gotta put a door in. Everyone always says you gotta put a door in. So the guy was like, all right, listen. He goes, you know what you can do? He goes, in the wintertime, because I was hanging a tarp and like duct taping it to the doorway to stop the cold air from coming in. And he goes, all right, so if you go to Lowe's and you get one of those, I forget what it's called, but it's like the pink square board. It's a something board, right? Um, he goes, you take one of those, you like poke a hole in it, put a handle on it, and you just like shimmy it into the doorway and pull it so it's tight. And he goes, now you don't have to hang a tarp. You have that like basically like an insulation board that sits in the doorway that blocks the cold air for you. And I was like, oh yeah. And he goes, yeah, and it's way better than a tarp. Because air will just go around the tarp. And I was like, yeah, that's a really cool idea. Yeah, I mean it's it was an interesting
They used to
it was an
call that shit
interesting
blue
thing.
no, blue board's plaster.
Yeah, I almost called it a blue board, but
Well, I was gonna say
it's
because
a pink
I
board.
see, but that's the thing is I thought I vaguely remember from I don't know when Big Rob did the house. I thought I vaguely remember him saying something like, "Oh, the blue board, the blue board, the blue board." And he came back and it wasn't fucking blue. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"When's the blue board getting here?" He goes, "Well, that's it." I'm like, "It ain't blue."
Yeah, so it's
14.
just a foamular, it's an underlayment board. I found it. It's got the stupid fucking Pink Panther on it. It's just a pink square board.
Oh yeah,
That's all
I
it
remember those
is.
boards.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, he's like, just toss that in the doorway. He goes, you're all set to be good to go. But he did. So part of the thing is like when he runs the calculation, because again, he just punches numbers into the system. Um, it spits out like how much money you're losing by
Damn.
not doing this. And
Yeah,
which again is
yeah.
not super accurate
Oh my
because
God,
I
you're losing
didn't,
$500 a month. It's like
yeah, because I never told him what my energy bill was every month. Like he had no idea what my
yeah,
electric bill is. He has no idea
exactly.
what our oil bill is, right? It's just like, oh, this is how much you're losing. But he goes, regardless, he goes, this is how much, you would lose or supposedly save or whatever. But he goes, regardless of all of these numbers, he goes, you need insulation in the attic. He's like, you don't need to be like I forget, like a contractor or whatever to understand that heat rises. And in the wintertime, if there's nothing to keep the heat in, all of your heat is going out of your roof. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I know. That's kind of why you're here.
Why didn't I think of that?
Yeah. It's like that's why it's literally why you're here. I'm just trying to get $1,000. Like I'm gonna do it either way. Like I'm just trying to get the town to give me $1,000 towards the project.
Does the town do $1,000 a year?
Yeah. So that's what I explained it to the
Okay.
guy, and I was like, I'll see you next year because I'm just gonna like anytime I want a
Yeah,
new
one thing at a time.
project, it's gonna be $1,000 because that's the stipulation from the town. It's $1,000 per customer per year.
Yep.
So, I'll have them out this year. I'll get the $1,000 for the insulation. Maybe next year I'll have them come back, see if they want to give me $1,000 towards a mini split.
Oh yeah, that could be a thing, right? Just
Yeah,
better than
yeah.
better than
Then window units.
yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna abuse the
Those I
shit
was
out of the town for the next couple of years.
I mean, hey, if they're offering it,
That's the thing. If you don't want me to use it, don't offer it.
they don't care. The town doesn't care. Because again,
Yeah,
this is
no.
the same thing because all the town's gonna do is like, yeah, we'll give you a grant. It's baked into your bill anyway,
Right, right.
or everyone's bill.
Right.
And
Yeah, they
then
probably do the exact same thing as National
it's the
Grid. Instead of
exact same
$10
thing.
a month, it's probably like $3.99 a month in a service charge, right?
And then
Like
if this
whatever the
and
service charge is.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's like then if the state sees it's like, wow, North Attleboro really stepped up their clean energy spending, whatever. They spent $1 million this year. It's like, their grant for next year is we're gonna give them an extra fucking 100K.
You
Like,
remember, you got to use up your budget if you want a bigger one next year.
yep. So the town doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not their money. Well,
they
I mean,
want
it
you.
is, but
No, it's not. It's
yeah,
yours.
right.
It's in the
Yeah,
bill.
yeah, true, true.
Somewhere in the bill. Like, that's the thing, whether it's 1%, 2%, like, it doesn't matter.
Oh yeah, here we go. So I have my bill. I have my latest energy bill from North Attleboro Electric. So I have a generation charge, which again is like rate usage, transmission charge, which is rate by usage, distribution charge, rate by usage, and the energy charge is rate by usage. Then the last line item is a customer charge, which is $10.30.
Oh, hey, hey. I wonder
I
where they
wonder where
got that
that
number
thousand
from.
dollar I wonder where that $1,000 a year comes from.
So actually, you're still ahead of schedule, provided you get your 1,000.
Right, it
I
would be
mean,
whatever 1,000 minus 120 is.
unfortunately, Mary's behind the eight ball on that one, but
Yeah.
so to say you two have only been paying the bill for 3 years, whatever.
Yeah. So yeah, your customer charge, $10.30. There it is.
Mini
It's
split,
my money. They're giving me
mi
my money back.
mini split. You would need the mini split, the HVAC guy, but I was gonna say mini split. Uh, in your living room would be a great idea, except for that fucking doorway, too.
Which one?
So in your living room, if you had the mini split facing the doorway, that's a great place to put it. Plus, it's an exterior wall, but
Mhm.
then it's facing the stairway.
We would probably put it in the back, like on this wall right here above
Okay.
um
Yeah, I never really look
my
over there.
desk, because then it would blow like straight into the living room and then like
Yeah,
down the long hallway.
might need one on the first floor too.
Yeah, I mean, I could
Because
just kick this.
because you're gonna lose. That's the thing. You're gonna lose it down the stairs.
Right, right.
But if
Um,
everything's kind of like similar-ish, then it doesn't matter.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can kick this window unit because this is I think this is a 10,000 or a 12,000 BTU. I bought a big sucker for this window because again, the living room is huge.
Yeah.
Um, but I can always kick this one downstairs if I wanted.
Sure.
But yeah, so maybe next year is a mini split.
Dude, I think over time, I don't think they're crazy. They're not free, but I don't think they're as crazy as they used to be once upon a time.
Yeah, yeah.
And more people they're more popular, so more people have them. People are better at installing them. It's not so fucking
Right.
difficult. Like,
It's like flat screen TVs. Like the first flat screen TV that came out was like $6,000. Now you can get a
they're free.
75, yeah, you can get a 75-inch flat screen for like $800.
I forgot he was down here. Holy shit.
Was
So,
he just harumphing?
well, I think Michaela's on a call with the videographer
Ah,
precisely at 11.
yep.
So she was, oh, I'm gonna bring him down when I get on the call. And I forgot he was down here because he was laying down back there. So this will be interesting.
Yeah.
They just went for a walk. He might have to go for another one just to get him out of this house. Oh shit, he's free.
You just busted out.
He just knows the door open. Well, so I don't dry my sweatshirts. So if you look over my shoulder, the
Yeah.
sweatshirt's hanging.
Oh, yeah. So it stops the door from
So
being
the door
closed.
wasn't actually closed.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Hey, is he good up there? Okay.
Well, I mean, on that note, we can wrap this up.
Yeah, let me pull up let me pull up my thing. Okay, so this has been coming up on social media a lot. Uh, I think the people that make drinking a beer more than it is they need to fucking stop. So it's like you'll see it on social media, like occasionally it's like top 5 beers, like after mowing beer and morning beer and like pool beer and airport beer. Stop.
Yeah.
Just fucking stop. Like, don't make a fucking spectacle of it. Like it's fucking stupid. Like, top 5 experiences is having a beer after mowing the lawn. It's like, just fucking stop. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. First of all, it's not.
yeah, and mowing the lawn sucks.
Yeah.
I don't even do it, and I know. Well, I used to, but like, I don't even do it, and I know it sucks. So fuck
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, the beer just tastes better after a nice lawn mow. Shut the fuck up, you fucking nerd. Like, what the
Yeah.
fuck is wrong with you?
You like grass? You like the taste of grass in your beer?
And
Because
then and
after I
then
mow the lawn, I get fucking dirt and grass in my nose.
and then it's like airport beer. It's like again, like the airport sucks,
Yeah.
which leads me to the number one that absolutely drives me fucking crazy is the shower beer.
Yes.
So, couple things at play. One, do you really need to drink a beer in the shower? You have to. Like, can't wait. Two, of all the ways to drink a beer in all the settings, in the shower has to be the least desirable one.
Yeah. I would say that's probably accurate. I mean,
So,
driving a car is probably
well, that's
probably
just
up there.
illegal. So that's the thing. That's very illegal. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with like
Right.
you're sitting. There's a cup holder.
Yeah.
It's dangerous, but
Yeah.
like you're in a chair with a cup holder.
Yeah.
You're not.
Because you could drink a beer sitting in the car with it off in the driveway.
Yeah, I mean it's odd, but hey, or like our high school gym teacher that used to in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Or, but then yeah, you know what? You're right. The one thing I want to do is take this cold beverage and I want to move it into a warm, humid setting.
Yep.
And then I want a bunch of water hitting me in the face and potentially getting in the can when I drink it. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, especially
So,
soap too. If you're
yeah,
washing yourself and
ideally.
soap gets in there, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
ideally.
Yeah.
So, enough with the fucking shower beer and enough it is okay just to drink a beer. Like you don't need to title it.
Yeah.
You don't need to rank them because the last time I checked, a Bud Light tastes the fucking same. Pretty much every time I've ever drank one, unless it was skunked.
Yeah.
But either way, it's like beer in a can can't skunk. There's no light.
Right.
Or it can't skunk like it can go bad,
Right.
but like it can't
Yeah, yeah,
skunk
yeah.
like in the truest sense of it. Enough of the beer titles. Like, and I did see someone making fun of like the IPA drinkers where it's like oh my it's like it's a meme and it's like a guy with like a beard whatever and it's like thank you for giving me like an identity and the IPA just goes I'm literally just a disgusting beer. This all has to stop.
Yeah.
Like if you want to drink a beer, go ahead. You don't want to drink a beer, don't drink one.
Right.
I don't
Right.
fucking care. They all taste the fucking same or the same beer tastes the same like all the time.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah. Agreed. Plus beer sucks.
I
So
only I only drink them out of force is the wrong word, but like when I'm drinking for distance, that's it.
yeah. Yeah.
I don't know the last time like I purchased beer and put it in my fridge. I may have never gone to the store,
Yeah.
bought beer and put it in my fridge.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Well, what am I gonna do? I'm not drinking Bud Lights at home. Like that's insane.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably bought like a Kentucky bourbon ale or like a porter. Like I like the winter beers, right? Like I like heavier, darker
Yeah.
stouts, porters. Um,
Even
so I'll
now
drink
though, it's
those.
like because like I only drink beer like guys' weekends, bachelor parties, what like when I'm going. Now it's like I drink those things like it's fucking something. And I'm like, happy
Yeah.
hangover tomorrow, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this kind of is a good segue into my final thought, which blossomed from the trip in Charleston because it came out of you looking at the box of liquid IV and going, ugh, great.
Grape sucks.
So
So I will say I have never liked grape anything. I actually really like grapes,
yeah.
but I have never once liked a grape flavored anything. Like
So my
teeny,
final thought
none of it.
is a question, right? Is what is the best flavor of things, right? Like what do you like as like a flavor? Since we know it's not grape. And
It's
if you
definitely
want
not
time to
grape.
think, I can go because I obviously know mine.
Go ahead, because I mean,
Mm.
like obviously I'm going to like do my monologuing where I'm like, oh well, it depends on the context. Because it's like, just answer the fucking question, will you?
So for me, number one is probably anything like lemon, lime, citrusy, right? Like whether that's just lime, just lemon, or a lemon lime mix, right? Like it doesn't necessarily need to be Sprite, but I'm thinking like an Element, right? Like I'm drinking a can of Element. Shout out to them. This is a new product that they sent me for being an insider for free. So go join the Element Insider and use the promo code in the show notes below to get some cool stuff. But I um, like that lemon lime citrus. That's my number one. After that, I would say probably like black cherry is another one of my favorites. Whether that's, like a black cherry high noon or a black cherry white claw or uh again, Element makes a black cherry flavor, right? Like I like that whatever flavor profile that is. Um and then from there I would say like grape and pineapple are good. So I actually do like grape flavored things. I like grape Mio, which is pretty solid. Um but yeah, so I would say like lemon lime, black cherry, and then like a pineapple and grape. I guess if I had to throw in a fifth one just to make it a even number, or a even five number, um, watermelon, right, is usually pretty good, which is interesting because I don't like watermelons. Like I don't like the fruit watermelon, but I like watermelon flavored things. So try and figure that one out. But those are probably my top five.
So I would probably lean towards not just like black cherry, but like kind of all cherry. Like
Yeah.
cherry, I like cherry things,
I think cherry's a really good flavor.
and like sometimes fruit punch sneaks like kind of the cherry way, but like I can't just say red drink because I don't love all strawberry stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I think cherry would be one. Blue,
Blue
blue is
is a
probably
flavor.
two.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, because I was like thinking, so I'm like, all right, if you send me to the store and say buy a Gatorade, it's probably like if they have it, it's probably the white one first for me.
Right.
Then I'd probably be looking at blue,
Yeah, light blue, dark blue, medium
just
blue,
blue, any blue,
all the blues. There's
all
like
the
four
blues.
different
They're,
blues.
they're all the
Doesn't
same.
matter.
That's the
They're all
thing.
the
They're all the
same.
fucking same.
Yeah, all blue things
Um,
taste the same.
like if I was to get Lush or Italian Ice, like cherry would probably be my first pick. Blue would probably be second. Then I'm looking at like a lemon or so.
Yeah.
Like I don't mind lemon lime stuff. But yeah, it's like when we used to buy the Italian ices, it's like, ooh, cherry. It's like, oh no, this is strawberry. It's like it's fine, but it's seriously not what I was fucking looking for here.
Right. Right.
I think that's probably my top. Cause I'm even thinking like just like regular seltzers, like non-alcoholic. Like there's a cherry one that I like.
Hmm.
They don't really make a lot of blue seltzers. It's like blueberry, but
Yeah.
that's not
Blueberry is
blue.
kind of lame. I don't like blueberry flavored
Blueberry's not
things.
blue.
I also don't like regular. I mean, I'll eat blueberries, but they're not my favorite.
I like blue. Um,
Sometimes they're sour.
well, that's
You're
if they're
just
not
not,
ready to go.
yeah, you're just like not ready for it. You eat a blueberry and it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't
Sometimes,
expecting
well,
that.
sometimes I buy them and I'm like, they're not ripe. I'm like, great. Like, I'll eat these in 3 days, I guess. Yeah, I guess black cherry like is always good. Like if they were like, because usually it's like, oh, get me a high noon. It's like, what do you want? Doesn't matter. And it's like, well, you have to pick one. It's like, okay, then I guess black cherry. Like it doesn't
Right,
matter.
right.
Um, there's no blue in high noon either.
No.
Yeah, I'd say like the only ones I do not like grape. Like grape sucks. Uh, most grapefruit things are shit too, but I don't know if they're supposed to be any better. It's a grapefruit. It sucks. Like
Yeah.
my
Yeah. Oh,
grandfather used to like
I
grapefruit.
hate grapefruit. I
Like
hate
grapefruit juice,
the
grapefruit.
actual fruit, the juice, the
It
flavor.
all sucks.
I'm out. I'm out on all things
It all
grapefruit.
sucks.
Yeah.
Um, and then like yeah, I'm not super big on like strawberry from time to time. But that one all depends on like it all depends on what it is.
Right. Right.
Final answer.
All right. There we go. There's the best flavor things. Well, that's going to do it for us. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to click subscribe up top, hit the thumbs up down below, spread the word, tell everybody you know about the show. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod, Twitter is Sarcasm underscore speaks, Facebook is Sarcasm Speaks. Subscribe if you're an audio only guy too. You leave us 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. Um, Go to the show notes below. I did the out of order things here, and now I lost my place. Go to the show notes below. Check out all the sponsors like Element. Again, shout out to them for sending me free like canned sparkling drink of their new flavors. For being an Element insider. So go join them. Use that promo code in the show notes. Get some free shit and support a good company. Um, what else? That's it, I think. So until next time, good night, everybody, or good day, everybody.